How hard is it when the game's on the line for you to go and make that pitch, or it's a one-run game and you got to hold it down? It sounds simple, truly. But we just talked to Jonathan Papelbon. We talked to him about what it is like in high leverage situations. So let's play the clip for you guys right here, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Your team that's going to get the ball in either the high leverage or the last horse outs, that's a different mental game, man. Listen, I cannot tell you how many times I've seen guys with the greatest ability and the most potential ever can't shut down the last 3 innings of the game or come in and do it. It's a different mindset, and you have to find players that have that mindset. They can go in, that want that and need that on them to where they are more successful. I went into Theo Epstein and Terry Francona's office and I said, listen, I will be more successful as a closer than a starter. You got to just trust me on this. I knew it. But, at the end of the day, it's a different mindset. Like Derek Jeter would come up against me all the time and change his swing from I'd go in the dugout or the clubhouse, be watching his at-bats. And then I get on the mound. I'm like, man, this is a totally different swing, totally different approach. He's doing it. So you can't – things change when the game's on the line, period.
So right there, things change when the game is on the line.
Mic drop there.
Period. And Jonathan Papelbon had a lot of those moments. And if you haven't watched it, it's out now on YouTube. But let's dive into those comments. That's a pitcher right there that during his time, during his peak, he was one of the most dominant closers and dominant high leverage pitchers in the game of baseball. And he's exactly right. Zach, when it was at the deadline or after the deadline, yes, we would have loved to have seen a closer. We would have loved to have seen a guy like a Tanner Scott. Cost a lot, but you would have loved to see it. But my biggest worry for Baltimore wasn't that you didn't get the closer role. It was having guys comfortable in high leverage situations. And that's why I believe for Brandon Hyde and the Baltimore Orioles, that rotation of guys hasn't been decided. And that's been a concerning part right here, because the Orioles, as it's gotten later into games, or because they're not going deeper, the starters aren't going deeper into the contest, your bullpen is being taxed and guys are being put in situations that they're either too fatigued and tired for, or they're mentally maybe not in the right position. Now, relievers bounce around a lot. So I want to preface that. Being a relief pitcher, there's no glory in that job, Zach. There's no glory in it at all. But I think what we're learning here is that there's a certain mentality that you got to have, and no amount of talent is going to necessarily make you great for that. You have to have that other side that people aren't going to see.
Yeah, and I think he nailed it when he talked about, from his experiences, the number of guys that the talent and the potential was off the charts for, and then suddenly they get into these high leverage situations. We see guys all the time. If you want to look more recently, Birch Smith goes on that run he had when he first got here, where he was like the most reliable pitcher in the Orioles bullpen, and people are like, make him the closer. And it's not that simple, because pitching in the sixth is totally different than pitching in the ninth, when everything is elevated. Every move, every wrong move is elevated. We see last night, Sir Anthony Dominguez makes a beautiful 3-2 pitch. Jesse Winker made a better swing, and the game's over like that. There's no, okay, get the next guy, whatever. It's, oh, you made a good pitch and got beat? Sorry, the game's over. You just lost.
Yeah.
So it's all mental.
It's all mental. But I'll say this with Sir Anthony, if we're going to talk about it, I'm not as concerned with those two moments, to be honest, because look, both those circumstances, solo shot. Jesse's was a solo shot to win the game, correct?
Yes.
So both of them were solo shots. Alvarez is putting his stones out there on the table there on maybe home plate of saying 3-0, I'm feeling confident, I'm going to let it eat. Wasn't a bad pitch, but to have that much confidence, and he put a great swing on it. Hey, yeah. Round of applause. He went and won it. Jesse Winker went and won it. Dominguez, yes, while he could have put the batter away, moved on, he wasn't walking guys where it led to a long inning. It was, hey, tip your cap. They did their job. Is it ideal? Hell no. No, they're not going, well, hey, it's just a home run, Ryan. Game lost. Well, of course, it stings. But If Dominguez can still be around the plate, I still feel comfortable with it, and he's going to be in those positions. But right now, outside of him and Cano, who do you consistently feel is going to be there? And that's what Baltimore is trying to find. And quite frankly, once again, if your starters don't go deep in the game, your bullpen is going to be put at a disadvantage, which has been the case here over the last month or so of the season. That's the way the cookie crumbles. You got to keep grinding. And I say the O's are fine, Zach. Why? Why do I say that?
It's a long season. Lots of ups and downs. And at the end of the day, at worst, the Orioles are a game and a half out of first place in the American League East tonight.
And it's, while people can say the world's falling, not ideal. How many games was Houston back earlier in the year?
10.
And now they're 5 up. Now the Orioles do need to try to get it into gear. We're not sugarcoating that. They got to put more clean games together, but they still have the ability to go and win the American League East. And above all, get in and get some guys back. And I think that they can make a run.